I stranded 200 players alongside some of the biggest Ark YouTubers just off the coast of my brand new map, Ark Mythica. No rules, no guidance, and just like in real life, if a player dies, they are dead forever. Each player could do whatever they wanted. Farm for food, build a home, start a real society, or even raise an army and go to war. What happened became the most incredible story I had ever filmed. So pick a nation to root for and enjoy the movie, as I am proud to present to you the 200-player civilization experiment on Ark Mythica Ascended.
Oh, run! Hard right.
All of the players began rushing down to try and find a way off of the island.
Go to the left side, go to the left side.
The right path was blocked by a wild T-Rex, so people were forced to start leaping off of the cliff.
Everyone just jump down the hill.
Just on the shoreline, rafts were stationed, awaiting to be claimed. Sprinting over, players started claiming rafts left, right and center, and then began sailing off towards the mainland.
Let's go start moving.
Wait, grab a raft. I'm going for the middle one. I'll tell you if I get it.
Players that weren't able to claim a raft were forced to swim out, followed the entire way by megalodon sharks. Over on the far eastern edge of the map, right next to a cave most players were too scared to enter, lived Athens, led by none other than Trafalgar, who from here onwards will go by the name Albertocles.
Right, so the plan is, boys, we're Athens, and just as Athens was the hegemon over all of Greece, we too shall be the hegemons over this land. We will subjugate all those who stand to oppose us and force them to join our wars against their will.
To achieve this goal, Athens would have to outperform in the early days. Straight away, he ordered the tribe to start taming the most powerful dinos in the area, Carnos, Ceratos, and even something else. The Reaper. A living tank that hits with extreme force, moves as fast as anything, and cannot be tamed in any normal way. To get one, a player first has to be impregnated by a Reaper queen, then survive the run back to base and being in constant labour along the way. Upon arrival, hopefully giving birth to a baby. Albertocles, betting that Reapers would be found in Mythica's only aberration zone, had set up right next door, and now would venture down into the cave, where sure enough, soon, they had found one. Meet Chernist. Patient yet shrewd, he is the leader of an up-and-coming power known as the Golden Order, a group set up on the very mountain just above the Norse dwarves, who we'll visit very shortly. One of his men, after arriving on the beach and taming a dino, had stumbled across the very cave that Athens was running their operations from. This man, seeing heavy activity going in and out of the cave from Athens, had brought about ideas that they may well be taming something rather powerful in secret. Chernist has one singular goal: to have peace in our era. Upon hearing the news from his man, Chernist needed to find out exactly what was being worked on inside of the cave. But first, the right opportunity would have to show up. Although, for now at least, another opportunity had appeared. It was to go ahead and download Raid Shadow Legends, the sponsor of today's video. Stay with me as I'll show you how to start with 3 free legendary champions and a free epic. You see, Raid has a new global event right now, the Web of Corruption. Log in for 7 days and you'll claim the brand new legendary for free, Vallaryn the Equalizer. It's running till the 18th of August, so make sure you start by the 31st of July. And here's a beast. Massive AoE, ignores defense, and stacks weaken and leech to keep your team standing. You can also take on Raya the Mourned in the limited time event dungeon for pinpoint gear and a load more. Honestly, for me, Raid scratches an itch just like running a tribe in Ark. Even better, Raid is cross-platform, so you can play on anything from PC to phone. Go ahead and download it right now using my link in the description or the QR code here, and you'll unlock 3 legendary champions and 1 epic for completely free. This is a limited time offer, and you'll get a starter pack with the legendary Karato Foxhunter. Then get a second free legendary with one of these codes. You'll only get one, so choose as wise as you can. Personally, I'd go for GETALICE. She will certainly carry your early game. Log in for 7 days to get Vallaryn free and hit level 15 for the epic Alure. score. That is 3 free legendaries and an epic by using my link. By playing Raid, you are directly supporting my channel, and I really appreciate it. Regardless, thank you for the sponsor, and let's get back to it. Up on the Salt Rock Mountains, living in clay huts, the Aurelians had formed.
My player name is Penguin Lord.
Under the leadership, for now at least, of a man known as Lord Penguin.
You fellow Aurelians, we have done well. We have came to this distant land to conquer, to learn, to thrive. We will pull ourselves together. One of these days soon, we will go out adventuring. We will find other people, and we will subjugate them. Or we will make alliance, depending on their attitude, of course. Yeah. You may be wondering where my father is. His boat crashed. What we must do right now is build our base, and then I will go out searching for my father. I need you all more than ever. All right, get out of here, go!
Penguin's father, a player called Kratos, had gone missing.
I seem to have gotten my coordinates the wrong way round.
Kratos was no ordinary tribemate. He would actually go on to become one of the most important players in the entire story. Before long, Lord Penguin turned the tribe's focus to one thing, finding him very, very fast. But before they could get far enough, a figure nearly triple Penguin's height had wandered straight into the middle of the Aurelian camp.
My name is Penguin Lord. What, may I ask, is your name?
You may refer to me as the Servant, or the Mouth of the Lord. It is up to you.
Oh, the Mouth of the Lord? What lord do you serve?
I serve Lord Xantha Blackmere of Mana Blackmere. Now, it appears you have beat us to a desirable location. However, we do intend on being neighbors if you so see to it as to have us in your vicinity.
Oh, interesting. Are you planning on being the kind of neighbors that are amicable, or are you planning on being the kind of neighbors that are violent?
We are always amicable.
Maybe we could work something out trade-wise, of course, if there's anything you need.
Indeed, that sounds favorable. We do intend on holding a masquerade ball at some point, and you will all be more than invited.
Finding a crevice in the side of this gold mountain, a group by the name of the North Dwarves had made a tunnel system leading into a much larger mineshaft. Led by a chap named Ivo, their entire plan was to keep their heads down and make steady progress within this large mountain.
Sure enough, we may be little, we may be a little bit less intelligent than others, but we've got spirit, we've got wit, and most importantly, we have our own dwarven determination to carry on our dwarven names. Essay! Don't forget, we need to rock and stone!
Ivo, more than anything, wanted his people left in peace. No politics, no alliances, no fight for the map. Just a quiet and proud life carved into this gold mountain. It was a sensible plan, but it was one the Norse dwarves would not get to keep. After being beaten to their original planned base spot, House Blackmere was forced to lay their foundations a mile northeast under the Green Obelisk.
I am merely known as the Servant, or the Mouth of the Lord Xantha. We have friends over on top of the hill above us. We shall conduct trade and make sure they are dutifully invited to our masquerade party, as we show everyone the culture.
The Servant operates as both a leader and interpreter for the greater being that the house itself serves. A shadowy figure that doesn't reveal himself to anyone religiously unworthy. Along that, Blackmere was building a grand manor hall for a masquerade party. Later on, they planned to invite everyone on the server to attend. However, it was this very masquerade that would soon threaten one of the most powerful men on the server. Atop a large grassy plateau lives the Phiomia farmers. They were like-minded men with a particular idea in mind. It was to breed Phiomia pigs while also milking them.
What's the technique for this?
Enjoy it.
I'm not milking a male. Get me a female.
You're not in a position to make them.
The Phiomia farmers were under a not-so-strict rule of a wide-framed man named CaptainFatdog.
I am CaptainFatdog, and we are going to be the PHEMO farmers, the greatest farmers in these lands. Some say that PHEMOs cannot be milked, but we will show them how it's done.
While others such as Alberticles and Lord Penguin himself were out chasing monsters and trying to subjugate other groups, FatDog and his men were simply aimed at milking pigs. Honestly, you have to respect it. And with that, day 1 draws to a close. Today, tribes had gathered and prepared in relative safety. With still many more groups to discover, the server now shut down and all of the players logged off. Tomorrow, groups would surely meet, and soon discover each of their different ideologies. On day 2, tensions would start to rise. Beginning day 2 at the base of Athens, where Alberticles had made preparations to introduce themselves to all of the neighboring tribes.
Alright, as soon as we have these reapers and these rhinos under control, we will fan out, find all those that live nearby us, and either bring them under our dominion or destroy them entirely.
Alberticles' idea was straightforward. Every tribe near Athens got a choice. Pay tribute and you'd stay undisturbed, or refuse and be taken by force. Push back and Alberticles would show you what his men could do, then sit one of his own beside your chief as co-leader. To put it concisely, Alberticles was forming vassal states, all there to fuel the head Athenian rule. However, for now, there was work to do, and he began by kitting up his men. Venturing to the far west of Mythica, a merchant tribe had begun development of what they hoped to become a future trade center for all business and deals across the map. This enterprise is called the Octon Conglomerate, led and run by the man in the suit himself, Farkash.
I am Farkash Wonderland. The Octon Conglomerate is a tribe all around making a lot of business, a lot of money. Will do any job for the right sum of money.
He was open to all kinds of deals, ones in good faith, and deals that weren't so such that.
They might still, we'll have to see how it plays out.
Maybe I can instigate it, maybe push the idea to them as well, before you get to them and just demand taxation and stuff like that.
Might not be a bad idea, they're the second to last guys we go to.
Leaving the Octon Conglomerates and locating in the northern mountains, a kingdom was built from nothing, formed originally by a man known as King Bob, or in the future, to others at least, known as King Knob.
I have groundbreaking news! Don't shoot it! Put some billboards around it, man.
He also had accumulated a bit of a temper in his group.
Did you just laugh at my Doet's name? Who dare laugh at my Doet's name?
I'm not laughing.
Do not mock my Doet.
King Bob, kept all of his members in line with a foolproof strike system. How they gathered up these strikes is only known to him, however.
That's strike one for you.
Since the new strike system is speaking butter.
Yeah, the new strike system seems to be working well. I'm very glad.
It is only the second day, and already some tribes are suffering from heavy losses, going as far as to needing to find other groups that would take them in as kin.
Hello, I'd like to join you guys. I kind of got screwed. My clan, the Brood, that we lived above you, we ended up splitting apart over feuds. Our leader left us, and my clan decided to jump off a cliff, and it's just me left. So I'd like to join your tribe.
That sounds like that's quite the story you've gone through, I suppose. I think we have enough space for more, right? I don't think we're too busy. Yeah. I reckon you could join. Yeah, I reckon we've got space.
Thank you so very much.
Deep in the swamp, a flurry of worshippers had nested themselves inside one of the caves. This gathering proclaimed themselves the Bog Reapers, and they had made one purpose. Under the leadership of Powerpoof and Swanky, they wanted to capture unsuspecting players and feed them to their idol, the Spider Queen Shelob.
Come, mother, feed.
At the Salt Rock Mountains, it was understood that the location of Lord Penguin's base was so valuable that a surprise visit from Farkash of the Octon conglomerate had seemed to turn into a prize business deal that accordingly benefited both leaders.
Why don't you give us an offer?
For the right information, tomorrow I can get you anything.
What we require would be, in no uncertain terms, a metric fuckload of stone.
That could work as well.
Tit for tat sort of thing.
After a rather terrible negotiation, it was agreed that Farkash would gather Lord Penguin quite a bit of stone. Settled in the southwestern region among the vast cherry blossom lands, a tribe of samurai established their home. This was the Ghosts of Yukimo, led by the one and the only Emperor Dapper.
We wish them to respect our land, as it is our land. If they wish to come to our land, they must first notify us.
He was supported by his right-hand man, Poe.
I'm using my third eye to look into his dreams.
Who also made sure to keep the team very much in line.
We need to make Emperor Dapper happy and not mad. The more people we have like this guy sleeping right here, you're not gonna be happy.
Already, a member from the historians named Elion had stumbled across Yukimo's base, and so introduced himself to Poe.
As an historian, I'm coming to find all those civilizations, all those stories, and discover it, actually.
We are not just ghosts. Yokomo is the people. Our plan is to reunite Yokomo as one, and we will all live in prosperity and under one banner. We want the other people in Yokomo to know that this is a land of freedom. We will no harm anybody.
Yukimo was all about preserving the nature within these very lands, and soon Emperor Dapper planned to expand his territory. A global gathering poster had been released to the public by a group called the Mythopedia News, who we will visit shortly. As this poster was read by all of the leaders, everyone was soon getting ready to leave for this global gathering. But from the Golden Order, Chernist had a different plan. He had snuck a small detachment of 4 men, each with their own respective tames, venturing deep down into the Athenian Aberration Cave.
Let's try to keep up with the Mega Raptor boy here. Let's pick up the pace, man. Let's pick up the pace.
All that Chernist had inside of this cave was a Theri, 2 Carnos, and a pretty useless spider. One would hope that there wouldn't be any unexpected encounters.
Yeah, they're trying to block off this entrance. I think we go further down. I don't think Dave would have been as ambitious enough to block off further down. Stick together, guys. Stay close.
After about 15 minutes of continuous walking, they had eventually stumbled across a completely wild Reaper.
Oh, spider pony! Spider pony! Oh my god! Ah!
This was no ordinary Reaper, but it was the highest level you can possibly find in the entire game.
150, 150.
Go, 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 go!
Oh
go,
my
go, go, go.
goodness gracious!
A 150 was extremely rare, and more importantly, it was higher level than the ones that Athens had. From here, they would go forward in attempts of trapping this Reaper and trying to get as many babies as possible.
Well, I know we're making sure that we're getting 2 of these things. Give me. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're trapping it. We're trapping it. I got too excited.
Trap.
As prompted in the Mythopedia News article, the Norse dwarves were holding a voluntary global gathering where all leaders would be invited to attend. Beginning the summit, Ivo, the leader of the dwarves, gave his introduction.
Welcome to the Great Hall of the Dwarves. You stand on neutral ground here, so leave your blades and your grudges at the door. Step up one at a time, say who you are, and say what you want. And remember, rock and stone, lads!
After an amazing speech, leaders were now free to step up if they pleased. And of course, someone was first up to the stage.
All right. Excuse me.
Bro, hurry this up.
Well, excuse me, I have tiny legs. All right. Secondly, my name is Lord Penguin. I am the ruler of the Arulians, of course. I have seemed to have lost my father. He was wrecked on a ship, and I've been searching for him. If anyone here has seen a man named Kratos, that is my father. If anyone captures my father, just know that we will pay generously for his return. Thank you for your time.
Lord Penguin from the Aurelians had publicly disclosed that Kratos was still missing. Regardless, Alberticles now stepped up to inform everyone that Athens from here onwards would be ruling the server. It was expected that the other groups would soon be needing to pay tribute.
Right. I'm Alberticles, the Archon of Athens, and all I want is a proper world that pays proper respect to the glory of Athens. I will go out and contact many of you going forward to make sure proper dues are paid. In future, you may want to come and speak with me before I speak with you. It's not a threat, just a word of advice.
We of the Arulian people will not pay any taxes to you Athenian scum!
Tomorrow we're going to show you something that might make you reconsider that position.
No matter what you do, the amount of stuff that you are going to get from us will be approximately nothing.
Okay, we'll see.
Lord Penguin and the Aurelians, although having very minimal strength, would not be hearing anything from what he proclaimed as Athenian scum. Alberticles didn't resort to arguing, but instead stepped back. From here, nearly all leaders of the Hall just decided to stay quiet and not walk up to the stage. The gathering was starting to come to a close, and already Alberticles had been contacted. As all of the leaders departed, Farkash from the Octon conglomerate stayed behind, where here he would be the first to bend the knee.
My name is Mr. Farkash, and us, as this little tribe of businessmen, wanted to offer our businesses in hopes that we could maybe have a little alliance or maybe a little bit of support from your tribes.
But yeah, no, of course, I'd be happy to have an alliance between us. It's always good to get in on the ground floor or something like this. And of course, by being the first, terms will be significantly more favorable to you.
Oh, well, that's really nice to hear.
With that, day 2 draws to a close. Groups were given the opportunity to talk with one another, and even one tribe had gone further, deep down into Athens' own cave. The Golden Order had been successful in getting 2 of their men impregnated, but they were forced to log off in this very cave. Day 3 opened back at the base of Athens. Up on his newly built keep, Alberticles had the Mythopedia news in hand.
Our local scouts have spotted the Athenian team deep in the aberration zone, building Reaper Queen traps. At least one spotted getting impregnated. On the day of the 7th of June 2026, global meeting held at Norse Dwarves, base 4845. Watch yourselves out there.
By printing that, the news team had certainly put themselves in the firing line. But the damage was now done, and the whole server knew exactly what Athens was sitting on. The Aberration Reaper Cave was no longer a secret, it was public news.
That is a whole bunch of bullshit.
Alberticles very well understood exactly what it meant. Many groups on the island would maybe come over in attempts of getting Reapers for themselves.
Whoa, this spider just spat at me. That's a player, that's a player shooting me. And he's pregnant,
What the fuck?
Oh. So, when a Golden Order player was spotted right by the cave, Athens and their Reapers were in pursuit.
There he is, look, he's coming up to you, he's going up to your side, he's going top side. It's the Golden Order.
Alberticles himself flew down on a terror bird, chasing the man onto an open beach.
I'm gaining on him.
The Golden Order member just on a spider had absolutely no ways of escaping.
He fell, don't let him up. I bowled it, kill his ass! I bowled the player, he's fucking done for! Murder him!
After landing a bowler, Alberticles had got him, and this was Purple Pony, a valued member of the Golden Order and one of Chernist's closest friends.
Let these guys fucking think they can come down in our fucking abs and just do whatever they want.
With the first death of day 3 already taking place, The Athenians rushed back to the cave to try and seal it off as fast as possible.
Guys, keep an eye out down there for anyone else trying to get Reapers. We can't fucking let this happen. Maybe we, block it up.
Seal it off.
The Athenians began blocking up the cave, but unbeknownst to them, 3 members of the Golden Order were still inside. For the last 2 days, Kratos had some problems in real life, and so he was going on and off at various times. Of course, this made it incredibly difficult for him to get situated and grouped up, seeing as at the moment, he was on the opposite side of the map.
You spent 2 whole days as a useless lump of meat!
Long story short, Kratos was finally sorted out, and so would return online to finally get grouped up with the Aurelians, after being added into the tribe and finally arriving at the Aurelians' base. From here, Kratos would take the verbal charge of the group, while Penguin would continue to lead as a diplomatic shadow. By the way, I must mention, yes, this is genuinely how they talk, and no, they never ever went out of character.
Well, 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 if it isn't Merrick.
Upon arrival, Penguin's right-hand man Merrick made sure to fill Kratos in.
At this time, we had a meeting yesterday, and your son seems to have wanted to pick a war, but I do agree with him. The Athenians, as they call themselves, seems to think they can make us pay taxes. I do not agree with it.
We will not bend the knee to none. I wish to meet them. Merrick, do you know of where they live?
Although only just taking charge, it wasn't just Penguin and Kratos who didn't like the Athenians. It was the entire Aurelian tribe. They hated the idea of being forced to try and pay some stupid tax. This new man would set out to soon speak to the ruler of the Athenian state. At the base of the Phiomia farmers, King Bob had arrived to meet his next-door neighbours, as he calls them. The intent was rather simple. Simply, he wanted to introduce himself. However, King Bob's way with words is not exactly what you would consider a pleasant greeting.
Yeah, we're still expanding. We're a new farm, but we're expanding.
Yeah. I kind of expected at least 3 times this, to be honest. I'm a little disappointed. God, you all are really short, aren't you? You have some sort of, growth problem.
Though he was a bit insulting, he came for a different reason. Apparently, the Secular Front planned to make a cocktail of sorts that required an immense amount of fecal matter.
I have an inquiry about your pigs, but I was kind of expecting there to be a couple more than there are.
Just you wait and see. There'll be plenty.
We had a rather big order of feces that I was going to request for my tribe from your pigs.
Yeah, you let us know what you need. Have you got anything for us in return?
We can get you something in return. You name what you want and we'll tell you if we can get it or not.
These pigs can produce poop at an outstanding rate. After establishing the deal, King Bob swiftly departs. But the way he talked to FatDog and questioned their abilities didn't quite sit well with the Phiomia farmers. Construction of the Ghost of Yukumo's base was progressing incredibly fast, building multiple massive watchtowers to surveil over the natural area. Although this time not a soloist historian, Yukumo had received a visitor. It was no one else but the head of the Athenian state, Alberticles.
People have arrived at our base. How you guys doing?
Hello, everyone. Albert of Athens has come.
Poe was near the entrance, and so welcomed Alberticles with open arms.
We appreciate you visiting our humble home.
You don't mind me learning a bit more about you guys, do you?
No, ask away.
Perfect. I gotta say, your home is beautiful. You're coming in, the towers, the location, everything about it. It's perfect.
Yes, we have some of the best builders.
Oh yeah, I can see that right here.
And Alberticles had went a step further to give exclusivity to this very group. He seemed to really like Yukumo, and in a way, trusted Poe.
But absolutely, I just wanted to offer hospitality and friendship to you guys. We've recently, let's say we've commandeered access to the aberration zone. And because of the kindness and the hospitality you guys have shown us, if ever you were to desire to go down there to grab resources or tames or anything like that, I think it would be certainly to both of our advantages to allow you to do so.
Thank you. You have the most honor.
Wow, if coming from you, that means a lot. You don't mind if we just take a little tour around, do you?
Oh, go ahead.
Finally, he walked up to this very temple.
Hello, Dapper-san, we bring visitors.
Oh, visitors.
Being nicely welcomed into their base, Alberticles decided not to play the power move, but instead simply pay his respects to this nice gentleman.
And I too have heard of the Emperor. It's an honor to be sitting before you like this.
The honor is all mine. I have a gift, actually. Something noting about an ancient strategy used by Athenians.
Alberticles, being a man of history, much appreciated this knowledge.
We've heard much about Pericles. It's great to hear that you have too.
Yes, we care much for our history.
Alberticles decided he wouldn't request tribute from this group. Instead, he would continue to pass compliments and win them over on mutual terms.
Frankly, my architects could learn much from yours.
Would you like to meet our architect?
If I could, yes.
Yeah, follow me. Just over here.
It's an honor, sir.
Thank you. The honor's all mine.
To put things straight, this meeting simply couldn't have gone better. Instead of Athens requesting tribute from Euchemo, they had established an agreement upon equal ground. Inside of the up security currently being blocked off Athenian cave, an Athens member on his rhino named Tommy Bowler was doing a couple security runs and had then noticed a laggy cape hiding inside of the bushes. It was Chernist, and he was spotted completely by himself on foot.
Oh, you coming with me, boy?
Given the name he had, Tommy Bowler, of course, bowlered Chernist, and then knocked him out where shortly after he was placed in a wooden cage.
Athenians own these streets.
You didn't post any signs anywhere. We didn't see any of that.
He was transported out to the newly built Athenian entrance, whereupon Chernist read the sign that from here onwards proclaimed this very cave was no longer open to the public.
Entry to the AB zone has been, forbidden.
As Chernist was stationed to wait while an interrogation room was built, in the mind of Alberticles, he had thought he was in a winning position. One member impregnated, dead, the leader of the group caged, and the cave mostly sealed shut. What he didn't know was that neither Pony nor Chernist were the only men present. Although not the intention, they had actually served as a really good distraction. While Athens went about chasing them, the other two Golden Order members who were also impregnated had been able to slip out quietly all the way while being unnoticed by any Athenian soldiers. With Kratos and the Aurelians still setting in, the Mythopedia news team had rolled up to their base, and this time the head host, Busher himself, had came along with his journalists. Here for the story, it played out like a royal audience. Kratos gave them exactly what they had came for, a good performance.
Welcome to the Temple of the Aurelians. May you take a seat.
Your Grace. Wait, do I call you like Sir Kratos? What would be the proper,
You will address him as Lord Kratos or Your Grace.
Alright. Lord Kratos, my humble journalists have come to you for an honest take upon your kingdom. We request to know what you guys stand for, and to what you will fight for, and what you will die for.
I see. My people. I have known them for many moons. I live to serve, and would die for any of them the same. And I hear that there are people out there that wish to challenge the likes of Aurelians. Hear my words and hold them close. Anybody who challenges will be met with a blade.
After that speech, and understanding that Busher had been round the block, Merrick had then come up with an idea.
Your Grace, perhaps they could give us the information on whereabout the Athenians are so we may go and talk to them. As we do wish to have a conversation with them. We are not looking for an immediate fight. We would like to have word.
I see.
Now, why don't you agree to our terms? You only tell us of a location. We only wish to speak. And you can continue asking me your grave questions.
Alright, that sounds fine to me, Your Grace.
Type shut.
As for those coordinates you wanted, Your Grace, in exchange for our conversation here, 4391 is the entrance to the Aberration Cave here. And the Athenians happen to be built right above it.
The so-called neutral news had just handed Kratos Athens' front door coordinates. With lots to say and knowing where the Athenians lived, Merrick and Kratos would make a move to talk directly to this all high and mighty leader. Mr. Fatdog, venturing to the top of the Secular Front's base, had arrived for what was supposed to be a negotiation regarding the dealing of fecal matter, although King Bob had turned it into something quite bigger.
So have you deliberated my offer?
We've discussed it, and we can provide your requirement of 250 poop per day.
Oh, lovely.
But we would like to know what you have to offer in return.
Obsidian, metal, you know.
As the two were talking more, the king then explained how his vision for the future was to murder all religious people, as apparently they're lesser beings than himself.
What's your purpose? What are your goals?
If you really want to know the true answer, murdering anyone that's religious to anyone but myself.
God is a strong term. It's more like he's above gods, you know? You know how it is?
Yeah.
To be honest, I have absolutely no idea how on earth there are genuinely people following this man's leadership. Somehow, there was even a chap who went ahead and explained everything about King Bob to Fatdog.
But as King Bob so delightfully said, he likes to use the term God King. We don't really like gods around here. It's more like he's a transcendent being that's above gods. You know, gods killed his parent. It was kind of a big, ugly matter. You know how it is.
Then, another member of the Phiomia farmers, Haitch, had arrived. He was here to ensure Fatdog stayed unharmed. Noble as his cause was, King Bob didn't take it lightly.
I'm just here to make sure that no one hurts a farmer Fatdog, that's over.
That is incredibly noble of you, but if we did want to hurt him, I don't think you and your frail little Flappy would be able to do much, to be honest.
Is that a threat?
The thought is there.
That sounds very threatening.
Anyway, what I'm saying is it's nice that you have some level of trust for us, otherwise you would have brought more firepower, is more what I'm alluding to.
And so, soon, Fatdog would find a way to settle this matter rather permanently. The small interrogation room was built, and now Alberticles would interrogate Chernist to find out exactly what him and his group had been up to.
Right. What was this about the guy you had down in the aberration zone on the Urania? Tell me about that a little bit.
We're just coming back up and we kind of ran into your building convoy. It looked like you were building a way to block off the entrance.
And what exactly was he thinking?
I don't know. I thought when I saw the entire thing, I tried to rush him to come the other way because obviously you guys are trying to block us in or block anyone from going in there, especially from what we have found.
And what exactly was he doing down there?
Well, I'm sure you have discovered as well. I did hear the screams from them, that blood-curdling sound. We were trying to attain a weapon.
And what makes you think you have any right to have such a weapon?
We are trying to instill peace. Peace all throughout the entire...
Is this what you call peace when he attacks my man down there minding his own business?
I did not see him. He ran the opposite direction. He did not follow my orders.
Now, what kind of band are you running over there where you have people disobeying you and attacking randoms?
What would you do if you were faced with two Reapers?
I would never have let my men get in that position in the first place.
Indeed.
And this weapon, was that the last of it?
Indeed. You killed him.
Chernist was lying to Alberticles. He said that Reaper on Purple Pony was the very last one, but indeed, it wasn't the case.
So you're just running a loose band of killers over there, running around murdering, stealing, and doing whatever they please.
No, not at all.
That's the only interaction we've had with you so far. And I'm starting to think that for the good of the whole server, it really would be best if your band of misfits and madmen were put on a bit of a leash. I'm starting to think that if you want to make it out of this box alive, you're going to have to follow some new directives from us. You can either have this group of madmen slaughtered and scattered across the winds and you dead in this box, or you can do what's best for the whole server, everyone here, and just follow orders.
I do want what's best for the realm. That is always what I've wanted.
Perfect.
Peace in our era.
Of course, yes.
Continuing the interrogation, Chernist picked the door that kept him breathing. The two had come to an agreement. The Golden Order would bend the knee, and an Athenian co-leader would be sat in his very own seat. Shortly after, he would be released freely back to his group. Even after all that had happened, in the mind of Alberticles, this was just the beginning. Even while still being formulated, only one vassal state wouldn't suffice. This was only the beginning of one of the biggest empires I had ever seen. Over on the other side of the map, two quieter groups were sitting down to do the maths. The secular front, King Bob's lot, met the Octan conglomerate. These talks would be about a serious matter. The Athenians going round declaring tax on absolutely everyone.
What was your opinion on the whole Athens tax thing?
Well, I wasn't vocal about it myself, but honestly, I see a war forming sometime soon.
Me and the Alurians, I don't know if you've come across them.
We did, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we are forming somewhat of an alliance with our very large tribes, and we're trying to obtain other people to also form an alliance to kill said taxes.
Farkash was interested, but remember, the Octan conglomerate had made a deal with the Athenians and was one of the first groups to bend the knee, though to him it was all business, and maybe he would try and find out information from the secular front to later give to Athens, or turn a blind eye and try and get some extra revenue from King Bob. Receiving coordinates from the Mythopedia News and travelling with Merrick by his side, Kratos would be sure to make quite the first impression.
My name is Kratos. I wish to speak to you because I hear whispers. You wish to tax people.
Tax, it's a downright slanderous term. I would say tribute.
And you think you are rightful to take it?
I know I am.
Is that right? You will have to take it from our hands.
Great.
You think of yourself as powerful, but on that day, my blade will know your blood!
Look around you. Is this truly who you wish to challenge? Do you really wish to see your men die?
You will watch your tone, boy.
And you will watch your men all die in front of you.
Your words mean nothing to me!
As you cower upon your mountaintop, face us in the field of battle.
Fine. Where do you wish to fight?
Right between the middle of us. 5883.
Merrick.
Marking it now.
Meet us there tomorrow, an hour into the day.
An hour
Watch
into
your
the
men
day.
be slaughtered.
A bereavement originally started by Lord Penguin in yesterday's meeting had now turned into a full-blown agreed-upon war that would start on the open grasslands of Day 4. The mighty Athenians versus the ever-disobedient Raelians. Flying over and arriving at the base of the Golden Order as their new co-leader Drax would now be installed into this very group. Drax was one of Alberticles' most trusted members of the Athenians. The Golden Order asked sensible questions, though they didn't much like the answers.
So just to recap here, just to make sure I understand. So he's going to be our temporary overseer.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Totally
He's an
don't,
envoy. He's an
Just
envoy.
an
Seeing
envoy,
as you guys have recently joined the Delian League, which congratulations. It's now only fit that we should have an envoy so we can maintain good and proper communications.
Yes, I'm just here to get a good, just build that connection, really.
To get some cooperation.
Yeah, we really
I
got
understand.
it right here.
Yeah, so when might this end?
Once we feel order has been restored and everyone is set properly on the right path.
And so what is this quote-unquote right path? Just to make sure,
Just ensuring everyone understands what is best for all those around them.
All right.
Yeah, these things are always a little vague.
The team was dutifully informed of their new position on the board. Shortly after, Chernist was then flown right over here and also added back into the group. Going forwards, he would lead as a co-leader, supported by Drax, who all at the same time would be passing all of their information straight back to Alberticles.
Anyway, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. If you need anything, you know where to find us.
In the future, he would play a major part in forming a genuine vassal state, keeping a constant eye on the Golden Order's every move. But there was something that was unbeknownst to Drax, and it would really be a question of whether he would be able to find this wildcard out. As the day was starting to wind down, we go to the masquerade party hosted by House Blackmere. Earlier, the Mythopedia News had posted it publicly, many leaders, understanding that a lot of talks would certainly go down in this masquerade, had dropped most of their tasks and began heading over. It did turn out though that this wasn't really just a simple masquerade. It looked to be a secret cover for people to talk about what Athens was doing. As everyone was handed goodie bags and found their seats, for the first time the one and only Lord Xantha calls everyone's attention.
Good evening and welcome. I do wish you all find yourselves comfortable, well-warmed, and well-fed. And I hope our goodie bags were to your liking.
With a short introduction already, someone wanted to step up to speak to this Lord Xantha.
Your question and name, sir?
My name is Kratos. I come here for I wish to meet more people. My question to you is this. What say you about the Athenians? They wish to take tax. They do not agree with the word, but it is what it is. They want to tax all of the people, all of the great people of their resources.
Kratos was not the only one that had disagreed with Athenian methods. Other members had come up and spoke about their encounters with Alberticles, but as they did, sounds of flapping wings could be heard from the distance. As this was a public event, the Athenians themselves had just shown up late. And as they walked in, the Lord Xantha gave his opinion on the whole situation.
Could we find violence upon our shores, or those so irritable enough to demand tax from one such as myself? We shall not be bending the knee either. House Blackmere stands alone, and we stand proud.
For the most part, Alberticles had heard this speech and pretty much understood exactly what was going on. Standing up, he now went face to face with Kratos.
Your little purple cape, coming in here thinking you are a warrior.
The way you sit in here blabbering on about me. Tomorrow you shall be dead and nobody will remember you. Why waste your breath?
I only tell the people of the truth, how you wish to take from them.
That you're a bloodthirsty maniac that wants to see everybody dead for your honor?
How dare you lie on my name?
Your name is pathetic. You will be dead tomorrow.
The two continued to go back and forth, but in this masquerade hall, arguing was not allowed, and so the Lord Xantha had ordered the servant to step in.
Me and all my men will see you driven from the field.
But first, I do speak on behalf of my lord. Turn around, Alberticles. You dare hurl insults and cursing within our manor without first presenting one of our lord servants with gift to excuse such blasphemies. Explain yourself.
A gift? I've come in here,
join us in
all
our
I've
death.
done is taken a seat. And we have this
No, it was
meathead
your
over
tongue
here
that cut
insulting
deeper than
me.
your actions.
My actions. All I did was sit. And he's here blabbering
No, it was
on
your
like some
tongue that
old
cut deeper.
housewife about me. Gossiping on about my actions. You'll see my actions tomorrow. And then
But you must
will see no
apologize to
more.
him now for your mouth.
Apologize for what?
To our lord for the language you used and sullied his ground. I will not stand for this.
I have sullied his ground? What, for
You used
refusing to be
cursing words within
insulted?
his halls.
So what am I, to sit here and just be ridiculed and insulted?
On that note, expediently find yourselves from my halls.
I wish to be here no longer.
Today was a day of talking. Groups had formed relations with one another. Underground meetings had taken place, caves blocked off, and spawns now commoditized, and even a genuine vassal state was formed. A war was on the horizon, but it would be a war that would end in a way I had certainly unexpected. This marks the end of Day 3. Beginning at the base of the Golden Order, it was very much evident that yesterday's meeting outburst at the Masquerade put a lot of players on high alert. Fyriel, leader of a nearby group known as the Mythweavers, had stumbled across the Golden Order's base and now came to Chernus to understand what he thought of said situation. Just before starting, Chernus made sure to join a different coup and have this chat very far from the main base. Let's just say, if Drax walked upon them, it would not end well.
What is your stance on the action going on between Kratos and the Athenians, Albert?
I do not like them at all. They've held us, they have an implant, and I have to make sure that nobody can hear it. And we're trying to keep it as private as possible. Right now, we are not fully with them.
You mean with the Athenians, correct?
Correct.
Of course, Chernus wasn't happy with his current situation. But really, what could he even do? First of all, the group couldn't even communicate to one another within their own tribe. They had to resort to passing notes to one another to try and avoid Drax. And some might say they could go and talk to other groups, but it's just not possible. Athens had men everywhere, and it was almost certain that if Chernus ever went and spoke to anyone else, Alberticles would surely find out. For the time being, the Golden Order had only one wildcard up their sleeve, but said wildcard was not yet ready to be used. As the two's talking was drawing to a close, another person had just showed up to the base. Luckily, it was Busher from the Mythopedia News, and he was here looking for the opinion on the Athenians. But upon talking, Chernus had done a complete 180 on his views.
Yeah, actually, we think quite highly of them. We think really good of them. They are the greatest people ever. We love being a part of the Athenian Legion.
So like, okay, so wait, you're a part of the Athenian Legion?
Yes, we are, and we are proud to be a part of it.
When did that happen? I thought
this happened. This happened yesterday. I had a very good talk with Albert yesterday.
Interesting. I'll take that information. Do I have free creative liberties to use this information?
No, you do
you're
not.
Speaking? I do not. Okay, I will not be using that. Okay, I'll state it as is. I'll state it as is.
With Busher being denied access to publish this article, the Golden Order would continue to go on, with no one knowing they had been vassalized. At the base of the Athenians, the sting of yesterday's interaction with House Blackmere was fresh in the mind of Alberticles. He had been insulted, disrespected, and worse, his image tarnished so freely by those he deemed vastly beneath his stature. In the tribal hierarchy of Athens, weakness was a death sentence, and Alberticles refused to be anything perceived as weak.
All right, 2 minutes, guys. Absolute final preparations and we mount up. Follow my orders and all will be well.
The Athenians were mounting themselves and getting ready to move out for no one else but House Blackmere. Alberticles suspected that the Aurelians and Blackmere certainly had an alliance, and so he wanted to strike this alliance first. After they had hit Blackmere, the plan was to swing round and then face the Aurelians on the agreed upon hour. Throughout the last 2 days, being pretty much left all by themselves, we visit the Bog Reapers. They weren't in a conflict, as the Bogs had a different idea in mind.
You will be the first to meet our mother's embrace.
One of only the 2 members of the Historians, Hydra had found himself in serious danger. Upon arriving to gather information, Hydra was captured and imprisoned by the Bogs, and then put under constant 24/7 surveillance. For the last day, he had been locked up, but luckily, he wasn't alone, because they had also captured a member of the Norse Dwarves. But unfortunately, the dwarf had already been fed to this big spider.
No, you stay. Your fate is sealed, you stay. Come, mother, feed.
The Bog Reapers now plan to feed Hydra to the Queen as well, but first, he needed to be marinated. Until they deemed him that, they would torture him relentlessly for the next few days, and in the meantime, try and capture more soloists. Recruiting members from other tribes to fight alongside them, Kratos from the Aurelians reached out to House Blackmere to call on their aid. As a way of solidifying an alliance between the two, an arranged marriage was proposed, and a member of the Aurelians would become a newfound servant to House Blackmere's Xantha.
Throw back your flesh. you find yourself now Mistress Mia of Mana Blackmere.
With the marriage ceremony completed, Mia had now become an honored member of House Blackmere.
Our generals and admirals are at your disposal, sire.
Kratos and the Aurelians got on their birds and departed back to base. In doing so, Lord Xanther and the Servant called the rest of their tribe inside the hall to host a speech where their different kind of ambition would be presented to the whole tribe.
They come into our sacred halls when we so graciously open them for joy and merriment. Yet what do they do but defile our sacred halls with their needless bickering? When asked to apologize, they refuse. We bear insult of our Lord's great name no longer. Arise, Scourge, as we forge the Citadel of Wrath.
But they had no idea that just outside, Athenian forces were about to engage. They had just arrived. The Athenians.
I'm at the
Alright,
back.
there's a guy right there. On the right. Matthias, on the right, there's a guy.
Running past the main base, Alberticles ordered them to advance on the masquerade hall.
Are we under attack?
We just got a guy. We got a guy on the stego here. I saw me running everything.
They had spotted players, and the Reaper and Rex forces moved in.
To retreat in the church.
Blackmere members were scattered everywhere, and they started dying left, right, and center to the Athenians. Alberticles pushed on.
If they're running on foot, kill them.
Blackmere was in a really bad position. Their men kept dying and dying. And already, the Athenians started to move down to the main base.
Okay, straight to Green Up. Let's fucking go, no delay. Give them no rest.
Moving and moving, it wasn't long before the main gates were down, and the Athenians pushed forward once more.
The gate is broken down. They're coming in.
Blackmere stood no chance. Nearly all of their men were dead, and only a few had been able to escape. Alberticles had struck a decisive blow, bringing an entire tribe down to its knees before him. We go to the base of the Pheomia farmers, who had been making some really good progress. Already, they had been hard at work going out and taming a total of 2 rock golems. These are massive indestructible beasts that pretty much function like an armored tank. To me, it looked as though they may be fearing an attack. But by who? Well, by the one and only King Nob. He had just flown down on his Pteranodon and again started throwing passive-aggressive insults at the Pheomia farmers. And so, FatDog and the rest of the team decided to put their very secret plan into action.
Oh, who said
He's
God?
down.
Well.
Oh, yes. Zero ammo wasted as well.
So then, King Nob, we're not too happy about your threats that you've been making to our Pheomias. And what must he do, Haitch?
Get on his knees and milk it with his lips. That's what
for me to do that, my friends.
Like, we want to give you a chance, but at the end of the day, you've been pretty rude to us, King Nub.
You've been very
You've insulted us.
How have I been
You've
rude
insulted
to you
our
guys?
Pheomias. You threatened their lives.
When?
We're not happy. Where's the respect, man?
You called me King, not me. Are you okay? I returned the favour. I came in with nothing but respect.
Now he's gone from King Nob to King
Sob.
Sob. All this crying.
When
They started forcing King Bob to milk the male Pheomias. What the fuck?
This one's a male. I'm not milking a male. Get me a female.
Canetiano, suck him. Come on. Gobble,
It's
gobble,
on face,
gobble.
very nice.
Did I hear a gobble?
Why is it sour? Why is it sour? Do I have to keep going?
Now, the Pheomia farmers had done something even more intense. They had videoed this whole situation and now threatened to release it to the server if King Bob ever got his tribe to rebel against them. They had blackmailed the mighty King Nob. After he was given time to calm down, he was then transported to a wooden cage, where in the future some grievous acts were carried out upon his person. The ghosts of Yukimo were continuing at an amazing speed. Their fortress was looking incredible, going as far as to construct long, large zip lines stretching across each of these huge towers. The army was forming, and they were hatching multiple babies. In the meantime, a surprise visit from the Norse dwarves, who had now their very own rock drake, had come with a warning.
Yeah, the historian, he came to us and asked us if we could find his friend. He was with the Bog Reapers, having a meeting with them when he went missing.
That'll be
nowhere.
why then.
I see.
Yeah,
The
mate,
Bog
don't go talk to
Reapers.
them. The Bog Reapers are kidnapping people.
What tribe is that?
They are?
Yeah, they're
Bog
using their
Oh.
spiders to kidnap people.
They tried me yesterday, but I killed their spider.
This isn't okay. This isn't okay.
This was not the first account of missing players on the server, but now it's becoming a lot more common and is raising high suspicions that something is going on with the box. The Great War was about to take place. Alberticles and his Athenians, arriving a few minutes early, were readied and stationed, awaiting the Aurelian army. Atop the hill, they hid their 2 reapers with a strategy of great surprise. Just round the corner and through the thick fog, Aurelian forces were starting to appear, with Kratos at the head of the army. The battlefield was a large open plain surrounded by sharp cliffs, the perfect setup to ensure retreat here would not be an option. The Mythopedia news were flying overhead, making sure to document every moment. The 2 opposing leaders, in a show of respect, dismounted their tames and walked towards the center of the field.
Well,
Kratos, come to see your
Albert.
end?
boy.
Don't you call me boy now.
I will call you boy. Well
Look
then,
me in the eyes. This is the last face you're gonna see, and it's not a pretty one.
your words mean nothing to me. Today will be your end. May you lay in a grave.
It'll be your grave alone, buddy.
We shall see about it.
Very well.
Let war begin.
Kratos and Alberticles mounted up their tames, and the battle was about to begin.
They will all die!
Forward! Reapers, jump up behind them!
The Reapers will die on this day!
As the Athenian Rollrats and Reapers moved in, the Aurelians were beginning to lose formation and rout.
Soldiers, move! What are we doing?
I'm dead. Yep, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Many of their men were dismounted and now on foot, but Alberticles had sent an order.
Yeah, try not to kill too many of them. There's a guy on foot, don't kill him.
He had told his men to stop killing the players on foot and instead try and capture them.
Keep this guy asleep, don't attack him, keep him asleep.
Donkey, can't use it.
There's a guy here.
Kratos was among one of the many who had been knocked out, and Alberticles himself was running around with bowlers, capturing even more.
Take as many of them hostage.
Knock him out, knock him out, knock him out, knock him out, knock him out. I don't have a club.
2 of them
We got
alive?
two, we got two.
Okay, let's build a cage by that shrine.
The fight was over, and the Athenians had won. Unconscious bodies were now being dragged towards the wooden cages built by Athens' soldiers. It was in this very battle that the Aurelians were meant to be supported by their allies. But House Blackmere had been decimated, and the secular front was a no-show. Completely left to themselves, with merely not enough tames, Kratos had been defeated, and now was about to be caged up.
Don't you touch me.
Take him alive!
The Great War had been a bloody one. A war that would be remembered. The few remaining members of the Aurelians were locked up in these very Athenian cages. Alberticles now prepared to pass Kratos an offer that he knew would be accepted.
Hello, Kratos. The battle went like I told you it would go. We did not lose a single man, and your tribe lays scattered.
No! You let me out of this cage! You cannot find me!
Look around, we got everyone. We got Merrick.
You will see an end.
Kratos, I feel like it's not entirely too far for us to perhaps put our differences aside and work towards something maybe a little grander.
What do you mean?
I do admire your courage, though. To march out like that in front of all of us and to face us down. That was admirable, but it was also foolish. So I think it wouldn't be completely amiss if we were to restore you to your previous kingdom, just with the assistance of a perhaps Athenian co-king to help guide you, and make sure you don't do anything foolish like that again.
And you would let my people live?
All of them. Everyone we've captured here would be free to return to their homes.
Fine.
Very well.
He would either bend the knee or have his loyal men killed in front of him. Being allowed out of his cage, over Alberticles' shoulder, he watched his own men burning on the fire and was hereby forced to become a vassal state of the Athenians. Whether or not his future would be prosperous, he didn't know, but this was his only chance of survival.
Now stand, Kratos. Stand, and let us together forge a brighter path.
To secure his vassal, Alberticles appointed Ozzy as the Aurelians' co-leader. She would keep a watchful eye over the tribe and make sure they stayed loyal to Alberticles.
I come now to introduce you to your new co-leader, an envoy from Athens to help make sure you stay on the right path.
What was your name? Your name?
You can call me Ozymandia, or Ozzy for short.
Pleasure to meet you, Ozzy.
And likewise.
Release all his prisoners. Allow them to return to their home.
The Aurelians were set free, and now would fly back to their base, where they would try and recover from the immense amount of losses. And Kratos would live the rest of his days strictly under the Athenian rule. Athens was at the peak of their power, with immense resources, tames, and men. Really, could anyone even stop them? Tomorrow, they would move to extend their reach further and further, moving out across the lands to force groups that they had never even met under their dominion. Day 5 starts at the base of the secular front, and King Bob was still imprisoned. Because of this, King Nob's right-hand man, Jade, had taken mantle as the acting leader, a role he didn't really want for himself, but had no choice. A nearby soloist tribe named the Hollow had a dispute with the Pheomias, and so wanted to help release the king.
I require your assistance, sir.
Yes, on the matters of King Bob.
Yes, sir. He has been captured, as you know. We spoke about it yesterday in very brief summary. He needs to be brought home. We have contingencies in place, but I don't think blood needs to be shed over King Bob.
Yes, if it can be avoided, that would be preferable. As a result, reason to believe that these Pheomia farmers, as per their namesake and what they seem to hold above all else, they might be willing to exchange a couple of particularly nice Pheomia in exchange for his life. We have such prepared and ready in order to make a deal.
The two groups had come to an agreement, and now they would set out with the Hollow's Pheomias to try and construct a negotiation with CaptainFatdog. Arriving at his newly vassalized state, Alberticles visited the Aurelians to gather some information on exactly who Kratos was talking to, and to understand if they had any unknown allies.
You come to visit?
Yes, I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Ask away.
So I was informed that there were potentially some tribes that were going to help you by attacking me in the back yesterday. And I would be particularly interested in knowing the names of some of these.
I would be more than happy to give them to you. King Bob was going to help me, and then to my very face, he cowarded. He was a coward!
Yeah, we can't let him get away with that, can we?
I would say not.
Kind of out of nowhere, King Nob was really being talked about a decent bit. As of now, Alberticles hadn't really had any interaction with the secular front, although he would make sure to remember exactly what Kratos had said. Down at the farmer's base, the Hollow had arrived on behalf of the secular front. Here, they would negotiate with the Pheomias to try and ensure the release of King Nob.
I'm Thanos of the Hollow.
Who the heck are the Hollow?
Apologies
I
for
thought-
the aggressions of yesterday and the quick rise to such sort of the reactionary measures of King Bob's capture. However, we are here today in a new light.
We do have some Pheomias to trade for King Bob.
We've got to go over our
Well, I'm trying to
contracting
back out.
terms that we would like to sort out with Bob ourselves first.
The Hollow departed to go and speak to Jade from the secular front. In the meantime, FatDog and his group rushed back to King Bob to tell him about a contract that they had formed in regards to his future sale.
You've grown quite a close attachment with this Pheomia, haven't you?
Well, when one gets forced upon you after a while, you know, it's inevitable you build a connection.
So, Nob, we may have, drafted up some sort of formal agreement. You could say a contract that we would like you to consider signing. I'll read this, right? I will read it for you, you uneducated swine.
I am very, very well educated, I
Nob,
assure you.
do hereby agree to bow the knee to the extremely humble, yet undeniably magnificent, handsome, and talented Pheomia farmers, and to aid them in all of their noble shenanigans. Furthermore, I agree that from this day forth, I shall be known only as Pauper Nob. Should I fail to refer to myself by this title, I shall once again service a Pheomia with my lips, mainly because it turns me on. Finally,
that's the first
I
true thing you
agree
said all day.
to provide the Pheomia farmers with 6,700 fibre, 3,006.7 hide, and 6.7 rexes.
How do we do the 0.7? Is that like an adolescent one?
Once Bob was at least partially informed of his agreement, the Hollow and the Secular Front had arrived back at their base, and after they were informed of these contract terms, pretty much an agreement had been agreed upon.
Pheomia farmers, I have thought about your trade offer. I'm willing to do the trade.
It wouldn't be long before Bob was released back into the public, and hopefully his integration would be nice and clean. Just a few hundred meters away from the Ghost of Yukimo's base, Alberticles and Farkash held their own private meeting, where here a deal would be made.
From what I heard across all my travels, no one really wants to pay you the taxes. They all really oppose the idea. And,
yeah, that does seem to be the way most people are thinking.
Yeah, and I do really think that they should get probably sorted out, and they should get a strong and charismatic leader instead of being scattered across the whole Ark. So I am afraid that maybe there will be like a big revolt, or maybe they will just band together and try to bend your knee instead. But I have intel on basically every single big tribe there is. I know most of the tames, I know their base layouts, and I kinda know their intentions, or basically what they shared. So I do have the knowledge, and I am willing to share with you if you want the alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. We could carve out a sizable kingdom for you to rule over.
So, do we have a deal?
Yes, we most certainly do.
Many groups across the map had talked with the Octan conglomerate in hopes of forming business relations, but now this very information was being given straight to the Athenian rule. The Octan conglomerate would act as the eyes and ears, and Alberticles would act as the brain. With the Aurelians and the Golden Order vassalized under Alberticles, and Farkash siding with them, Athens' power was really starting to become unmatched. At this point, the Athenians ruled over a huge percentage of Mythica. The question was, would anyone try to take Athens down? The long-awaited release of the one, the only King Nob was currently in progress. They had put him up on a cart in a wooden cage, and now moved him down to the beach where he would be let back into his tribe. On the way, they were even so kind as to sing him a song for goodbye.
Our time with King Bob has come to an end. We're happy to see his knee he did bend. He now goes as pauper, no longer a god, 'cause he gave our Pheomia a sloppy Gobble, 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 gobble,
Gobble,
gobble,
gobble,
gobble,
gobble,
gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble, gobble,
Damn.
gobble, 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 gobble.
I am not going to miss any of you whatsoever.
Spit it out.
As Bob was released and joined back with the Secular Front, the two groups gave each other a good farewell, and King Bob left with the gruesome memories of what he had done.
Farewell, Fiomia farmers. Farewell.
Goodbye.
Take care. And I hope you learnt your lesson, King Knob.
I hate you all.
Alberticles again in another meeting, this time secluded deep in a privatized forest. Here, he met with Chernist, the leader of the Golden Order.
I'd like to say we were very successful against Kratos. We were, unfortunately, some of them did die in the fight, but we were able to take many of them alive. And they have also had a similar arrangement done with them, and they have now officially joined the Delian League. So you should look to them as allies now. You guys are our friends, so they are your friends as well.
Wonderful.
Having time to chat to Alberticles, Chernist then decided to bring something else to his attention, a matter that had now been brought up on many occasions to Albert. He understood it was about time they needed to act.
Okay.
More so because I'm hearing of other things from Kratos, that there is another faction at play. The whole northern west hemisphere has been completely unaddressed.
Okay, so the Secular Front, I believe, are the people you speak of, correct?
I have not know their name. I've only heard the name of their leader, Lord Bob, King Bob.
Yeah, I think he's Secular Front, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
Okay.
we share interest in going after.
Yes,
them as
absolutely.
Earlier on, Alberticles had heard this very same information from Kratos, leader of his newly vassalized state. Now that that area of the map was brought up again, it seemed as though Kratos and Chernist may have been talking and was slightly directing Alberticles to venture into this unknown area of Mythica. Why they wanted to do so, I wasn't sure, but I'll tell you this, there was certainly a reason. Finally freed from the capture of the Fiomia farmers, King Bob on his very own beach had constructed a grand speech platform of thatch foundations. He wanted to thank all of his tribesmen for the work they had done, and also had a few other ideas in mind.
Men and women and people and organisms, I thank you in your valiant efforts, although it did take quite a while for me to be returned. I'm glad to be back at last. I just have one more thing to say. Let's go mess some stuff up. Let's get those big boys.
For Bob.
Yeah.
Let's go kill them now. Everyone assemble. Let's go.
There was absolutely no way on Earth that King Bob would allow these Fiomia farmers to live. An invasion was about to occur, putting all of their tames on rafts and now moving out to hit the Fiomia farmers.
Right, come on, people. Hurry. Huff the pace. Increase the pace, people. You can arrive at a later date. We're going now. Come on, people.
Alright, I'm on the
Fiomia farmers, no! Advance!
Move!
One scout and sniping.
As the Secular Front advanced, the Fiomias were forced to pull back within the base.
Yeah, everyone pull back.
But where's the hollow?
All back?
You know where the hollow is?
Is everyone inside that needs to be inside?
Yeah.
Everyone except one person, yeah?
Right, does everyone know what they're doing?
With all of the members retreated inside, King Bob pressed his assault.
They've locked themselves away.
Charge, men, charge!
Charge! For King Bob!
For King Bob!
But little did the knob know, this was exactly what FatDog wanted.
One's walking, one's pushing through. Got the door. Uti's following.
One's, yeah.
Alright, Recklers are coming in as well. Recklers are coming in.
As King Knob pushed his strongest tames inside, he doubted the power of the farmer's defenses and walked into one of the most impressive traps I had ever seen.
The ollie, right, go.
Now.
I'm opening this as well.
Doors up! Go! Go!
They placed it. Wait,
Whoa! Open the gate! Back up!
We're stuck. We can't get out.
The Secular Front was completely stuck and were now being pelted by Fiomia spearbolts, being pushed further and further out of their base. Secular Front players were scattered everywhere. Some members went on rafts and started sailing off before everyone could get on. King Bob himself didn't go valiantly. He had taken a different route and separated from the team entirely. FatDog, Raasclark and Toastbloke had pulled off an incredible defense, one better than they had ever imagined.
Pull back, man, that's it. We've won this one, that's it.
Come on, now, look at that!
Can I hear hurrah?
Can I hear a gobble gobble?
Gobble, gobble!
Gobble gobble!
Gobble, gobble!
King Nob had been defeated, and they planned to go back to the base of the secular front, but unfortunately, that was no longer viable. In the meantime of them attacking the Phiomia farmers, the Hollow had done a decimating raid upon the secular mountain. Their members stationed at base had all been killed, and now only a few people of the secular front remained. As the sun began to set, King Nob grouped up his men on a nearby shoreline. As the group mourns their losses and the Phiomia farmers celebrate the victory, Day 5 comes to a close. Tomorrow, the feeling in the air would change as tides of power began to shift. On Day 6, events would happen that nobody could predict. Day 6 begins at the base of the Golden Order. To the surprise of Drax, as the server opened and the players logged on, in a matter of minutes, he was then trapped in a room with Churnist.
Your leader had inserted you into our tribe knowing that they had killed one of my closest compatriots and thought that you would be a perfect replacement. Nobody could replace Pony. However, that does not mean that we aren't still friends. I think that we have grown close over the past few days. You've even saved Taicho, which is why I'm giving you this opportunity now. You can either join us, or you can die for everything that you have done. You have given him everything that we have, our defenses, our dinos. Make sure that he knows everything that we are doing. And I know you were under orders.
Normally, any talking like this would go straight back to Alberticles, but Drax was stuck, and there was no way he could get a message across. Being in this position, he had only one option.
I see. This is definitely quite the predicament. Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. I quite like living. It's pretty nice. And though I am loyal to Athens, I do believe that there is some sort of agreement or understanding that we could come across here. Then
I would like to see things on the right side of this. I would love for you to see the world the way I do, and we do. There can be peace, but not under Alberticles and the Athens. There will be need to be a new world order.
what do you propose? Are you going to be heading this New World Order?
That was a good question, and one that would soon be answered. Officially, the Athenians' first vassal state was now in a secret rebellion. Drax would remain here, caged up, unable to talk to Alberticles for the rest of the day. Every single member of the group vowed they would rather die than go back under the Athenian rule. Alberticles, completely unaware that one of his states was in open rebellion, moved out to newly vassalize the Bog Reapers. Knowing that his group was at the peak of their power, he understood the power would need to be used fast, and get as many tribes as possible today vassalized beneath him. He had been given word that one of the historians, who Alberticles had actually befriended, was fed to the Spider Queen. Less to say, he wasn't very happy.
Bog Reapers?
Hello.
Right,
Yo.
you guys are gonna need to come outside your base and surrender yourselves to our custody. For the killing of the historian's friend, I charge you with murder. Surrender yourselves now.
Yeah, that was
Be destroyed.
suicide. We didn't kill him.
Swanky was the only one there to talk, as the rest of the Bog Reapers had retreated to the Spider Queen and were now about to commit suicide.
Is everyone here?
Let's go.
Everyone ready?
Yes, I think
Run
so.
to the... Feed us to mother!
They're distracted by the cave.
Feed!
Eat it.
They fell for it.
As they began being gobbled up by this large spider, the Athenians had killed one or two on foot, and then continued on making heavy progress, breaking inside of the Bog Reaper's base and capturing all of their valuable loot. An entire tribe had just killed themselves. For Alberticles, this had taken a lot less time than expected, and now they would move to the Phiomia farmers. Deep down, far into the cave of the Norse dwarves, a tribe who had very much kept to themselves in these previous days, had constructed an underground meeting hall. Here, working with Chernist and Kratos, the dwarves invited all leaders but 3. Alberticles, Farkash, and King Bob had not received a letter of invitation. Over days upon days, the server had been ruled by the Athenians, but now, not 1, but 2 of the Athenian vassal states was in rebellion against their rule. Chernist had imprisoned Drax, and Kratos had managed to coerce and sweet-talk the Athenian co-leader, Ozzy. She had changed her mind, and decided Alberticles wasn't fit to rule. The discussions were about to begin, where they would form an empire. First, the leader of the dwarves, Ivo, stepped up to ask who would be fit to rule this opposing power.
I ask you this now, everyone. Who shall be our main lead to fight the Athens in strategic battle?
If no one else would like to, I will nominate myself to lead this battle against the Athenians, as I was the first to befall them.
I believe you are an intelligent individual.
Yes.
Battle strategy is yours, but I do want to say this. As I've told you, I watched my people burn as they ate the flesh of my people. I want his head on a spike. I want to be the one to take his head!
If that is what you wish for, Kratos.
If it means that there is peace in the end, and I have your word of that, then you will have it.
It is all I desire. So shall it be done. An alliance! What shall we call ourselves?
I think the Golden Empire would be fitting. As per Gold Mountain, this is where it is filled.
We can subside our identity for this new Golden Empire.
Everyone was in agreement. Chernist had been given the lead position of this very alliance, now proudly naming it the Golden Empire. Led by Alberticles, Athens showed up in full force. Walking up to the Phiomia farmers' base, all of the Athenian members spread themselves out in one large lineup. Here, they would loyally await their leaders' further orders.
Well, we need tribute. If they say no to tribute, I don't know what else we kind of do except attack them.
Is this like a fighting pit? What is this circle we're looking at?
I think it's where the pigs are. Yeah, it's the pig pen.
Seeing a man approaching in the distance, Alberticles stepped down to talk with CaptainFatdog himself.
If you guys saw the news article, but we are a little outstanding in the tribute department from you guys.
Right. Okay. And what would be involved in this tribute?
Just a payment, to show deference.
I mean, we're farmers, so pretty much what we've got to offer is Phiomia burgers, Phiomia milk, Phiomia poo, and Phiomias.
How many Phiomias do you guys have?
Currently, we're a little bit low on Phiomias because of certain incidents yesterday, but we do have, I'd say, at least a dozen.
A dozen. Okay, I think half will do.
Half?
Half your Phiomias, half your milk, half your burgers.
We're a little bit short on everything after our incidents yesterday.
King Nobby, they robbed us as well.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I think for now, half the
Would you be able
Phiomias
to give us a little bit of time to get ourselves organised? See, the problem is if we give you half of the Phiomias now, we won't be able to produce as much Phiomia milk. And so that
unfortunately,
could be a
that's
little bit of an issue.
Unfortunately, that is not my problem.
Are we able to have a little bit of time to get the milk?
I'm afraid we're gonna need that now.
You're gonna need it now.
I'm afraid so.
Let me see. I'll go see if we can sort that out for you. I don't know if we'll be able to, but I'll see if it can be sorted out.
Okay. I will just say it would very much so be in your best interest to sort that out.
Right. Okay.
CaptainFatdog was really feeling the pressure from the Athenians. Him and his group were stuck, secluded, and all by themselves, now facing the pure might of the rulers of the server. Fatdog wandered back inside his base to see what they could muster up. Outside, Alberticles and the Athenian force waited for the response. Their patience would only go so far. In this very moment, I genuinely felt bad for the Phiomia farmers. But the Phiomias were given a break. Toastbloke, who had just attended the Dwarven meeting, had arrived at the Phiomia base. Once stepping inside, he had given news to CaptainFatdog.
There's an alliance forming in the south. They are preparing for battle against Athens.
We need help now, though.
This was their only hope. Toastbloke got on his Pteranodon and rushed to try and inform the alliance.
Hello, Albert.
Hello. Have you come to a decision?
We have come to a decision. Our decision is that we have no Phiomias to spare on this day, as we need them for milking and for our burgers. Otherwise, we're going to be on short supply.
I don't want to be unreasonable here. There's nothing that can be done?
We can provide them tomorrow.
Where you need something now.
Not possible.
Okay. I think you understand what comes next then.
The Athenians rushed forward with the entirety of their forces, decimating the outskirts of the Phiomia farmers' base, tearing down farms, destroying huts, and now pushing forward to advance on the main gate.
Don't go in, Donkey, don't go in, Donkey! Can you get out, please, Donkey?
One of the Athens Rollrats rushed forwards, disobeying Alberticles' orders, and the Phiomias had trapped it yet again with a door. Raasclark was inside and was in serious danger.
Yeah, but I'm here, man. It's all broke.
There's a player there. There's a player there.
The team fired a volley and were able to save Raasclark. Athens was starting to see this raid wouldn't be as quick as expected. The Phiomias were armed up.
They have Heloballistas, Melanosaurs. They have a ton of spiders on the ceiling as well.
Okay, back up.
We kicked it. Back out.
Let's get somewhere. Back up.
This was a deep and windy cave. Athens moved their Reapers to the front entrance and started firing their poison bows.
Focus the Golem Rider. Focus the Golem Rider. Everyone focus him.
The Athenians were encountering a real problem. The cave was so narrow and blocked by two massive rock columns.
How the fuck do we push this, bro? They're just chucking fucking rocks down.
Golem guy's dead.
I literally don't know how are we actually meant to push this.
The battle was really starting to turn into a stalemate, a war of attrition. To counter, the Athenians went on foot with their rifles and began trying to shoot the riders as well as the ballista marksmen.
Okay.
More minutes continued to pass, and the fight between the two was genuinely starting to stall. And then, a member of the Athenian scouting party had noticed a faction was pulling up on the beach.
Enemies where?
Guys on my ping. Bunch of spawning guys on my ping.
What tribe?
I don't fucking know. I just got
going out on the map.
How many?
6, 7, 8.
Okay, guys, listen, we're getting counterattacked.
It was the ghosts of Eukimo, a group that was supposedly meant to be a friend of the Athenians. Emperor Dapper had not only betrayed Alberticles, but was now here all by himself, trying to assist the Phiomias in their defense. Alberticles could see that raiding the Phiomias was proving very difficult, so he made a gamble on a brand new plan.
If we turn around, we have enough strength to absolutely overwhelm them right now. We can come back to the Raasclark team.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Okay.
Athens moved down to the beach, where they would hit Eukimo in utter force.
Alright, let's push up against the Japanese and fucking wipe them out before they can hit us in the back.
Oh, they have really backed off. What's going on? They're turning around.
The Athenians moved forward, scaring the living hell out of Eukimo.
Forward. Focus Ackross. Can we get a C-spin right here? Matt, Ratty, right now. C-spin on here. Quickly.
I'm coming.
Player, he's in the bones.
Rushing round the sides and using their Fascilosuchus, Eukimo was getting obliterated. Their formation was completely dismantled, and now most of the men were on foot, and soon about 80% of their men were dead. Just as they were finishing off the remaining few tames, Alberticles was handed a surprise.
That rock golem's around the side. The rock golem is by the water.
Okay, now we gotta fight these fucking guys. Let's hollow this enemy acros.
Taking so long to raid the Phiomia farmers, they were now in the middle of an open battlefield surrounded by the Golden Empire.
Rexes, stand back! Let the Golden Order go first!
2 more Reapers?
I think I'm dead.
They have dinos.
My team on me, on my attack ping. My team on me, my attack ping.
I will die.
Where's the Daildon? Where's the
There's a big
Daildon?
Reaper up there.
Daildon, ping yourself. Fuck. The
Reapers
Rexes
running
are pushing
away.
up here.
Oh shit.
Oh god, I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh, I'm in
Oh
a
shit.
boys.
Yeah, I'm in a bind as well, if anyone can help me.
It doesn't work in right.
Ping yourself.
I think I'm done for here, guys. Fuck. I think this might be an every man for themselves type situation, guys. Every man for themselves.
They killed my everybody and me.
Focus on getting out alive as players.
Wait, who else dead?
The whole goddamn server pulled out, bro.
Dude, the fucking dwarves betrayed us.
Golden Order betraying us, bro. What the fuck?
Dude, the dwarves betrayed us too.
The Golden Empire defeated the Athenians at their own game. For the last 6 days, the people of the server endured subjugation, tributes forced upon them, and days upon days of humiliation.
Righty. You may be wondering why we are here. Well, recently, myself and the Aurelians have broken away from our chains. Now we have henceforth forged the Golden Empire, an alliance between the Norse dwarves, the Aurelians, the Hollow
farmers,
and the Phiomia farmers. When we heard that the Phiomia farmers needed aid, we all rushed to go and help, to make sure that these people who guise freedom with obedience and subjugation are taken out. We cannot let it stand. For now, we are going to be taking the force as a united force, the united realm of the Golden Empire.
This very alliance, formed of soloists, ex-vassal states, and farmers, had overcome the totalitarian Athenian rule. They had faced many challenges to overcome, but now were completely victorious. Tomorrow, the Golden Empire planned to face the Athenians once more. Here, they would try to either cage Alberticles, or, if he resisted, wipe him off Mythica entirely. Day 6 finishes on a singular note. Peace in our era. We start day 7, and I must say, do not underestimate the Athenians and Alberticles. With less than a total of 10 men left, as the sun was rising, Alberticles had all of his men and the entire force ready to move on catamaran rafts.
Okay, so is anyone not ready to go? Alright, so we gotta go all the way. We gotta go all the way around here. It's gonna be a bit, but let's fucking go.
Alberticles knew that the Athenian fortress simply wouldn't hold, so he decided to move out to the only place possible. The island of the Octon Conglomerate, led by Farkash, his most steadfast ally. Yesterday, Farkash was there in the Alliance meeting. He sat through it listening to every word and never lifted a finger. After everything the two had been through, to my surprise, Farkash decided to stay loyal to the Athenians. He believed that if Athens once ruled the server again, he could get a slice of the pie. Alberticles and the Athenians left on catamarans, making sure to leave some lovely explosives behind at their base.
Yeah, when they blow open the door, it'll blow back it'll blow up, or when they run in, it'll blow up in their face.
Already, Golden Empire Alliance members were showing up, but this time it wasn't everyone. It was the Phiomia farmers, and they had brought along their 2 rock golems.
Right, farmers, it doesn't look like anyone's here, so while we've got the chance, let's get in there, make sure that there's nothing for them to come back to.
Throwing these massive boulders towards the Athenian gates, FatDog and his 2 men were decimating the entrance.
That's it, through. Let's go break into the main building.
Pushing further and further, they had broken all of the standing gates and moved in to kill tames and tear down the main Athenian walls.
That should be enough. Easy.
Yeah, come on, let's break it down.
The walls were down and the golems moved in. The Pheomius could easily gather that the base had been abandoned. Not a single Athenian soldier was present.
This is what you get for trying to take 50% of our Pheomias.
This is for Farmer Raasclark, Farmer Toast. Oh mate, these are absolute tanks.
CaptainFatdog and his small detachment of 2 men had now destroyed the entire Athenian stronghold. From here, they sent out a pteranodon with an urgent message. Tell the Golden Empire the Athenians weren't here. Alberticles and the rest of his Athenians had encountered a serious problem. There was a secular front Tuso manned by the one and only King Nob following their catamaran convoy.
Please you, under us. Please you, under us.
Alright, everyone onto the shore. Oh my god, how the what the fuck are they doing?
Alright, boys, 5,000 meters to go. We got this.
Yeah.
This giant squid in the water dealt immense damage and could kill many of the Athenians' tames. Knowing this, Alberticles ordered the group to land on shore and said that from here, they would have to walk across the beach. Since day 5, after the Secular Front's base was destroyed by the Hollow, King Nob had led the group to somewhere no one had ever seen. They had set up a floating platform in the middle of the water and had now turned themselves into a completely naval group, taming a total of 2 Tusos and many Megalodons. Athens was now forced to slow their movement. However, King Bob decided to open communications. You see, he didn't very much like the Golden Empire, and so he thought maybe a deal could be made.
I do have a bigger issue with Kratos than I do with you, Albert, so...
Yeah, so how about we focus on this whole Kratos affair?
Yeah, I agree. If he shows, I will be gunning for him, and that man will not live much longer, I can assure you that.
Bob, can we get assurances from you that you will not come near us like that again?
Yeah, sure, man, that's fine.
I'm not trying to fucking walk for 15 minutes here.
I know.
King Nob had not only given the Athenians safe passage to cross the water, but he went and talked with Farkash, where then another deal was made. When the final battle arrived, the Secular Front would provide naval support around the Octans Island and bring much difficulty to anyone trying to cross the channel. It was now the Golden Empire versus the Octo-Athenian Secular Alliance, both fighting to rule the server. The Golden Empire, deciding to locate on the southwest of the map, were gathering their armies at the base of Yukimo. In the meantime, all of the leaders of these different tribes stood up in the very hall once used by Alberticles, where here the Empire would discuss how they planned to attack the Octans.
Alright, I'm sure that we all are aware of the cowardice of the Athenians. We had the plan to meet over at their base and we would attack them there. However, it seems that they have joined up with the Octan conglomerate. I knew it from the beginning. They were lying snakes and they have been found out. Now we must go to Griffin Island where they have been held up at. They are holding their last stand there. I don't think that we are going to be able to take them alive, but if we can, try our best.
Busher, lead of the Mythopedia News, were the ones with the Aureliacs, a very fast transport flyer that was currently being used to gather up information on the enemy alliance's movement.
Most of their defenses are set up. However, the entire island is covered in metal spikes, giant behemoth doorways, airlocks, ballista turrets, everywhere. That entire island is covered. They have bridges going to the other islands as well. It is not going to be an easy fight. We've noticed King Bob's tribe was also in this area. He's currently sitting on a Tuso out in the water, so moving by raft is going to be extremely risky.
They indeed had got information that King Bob and the Secular Front would be defending the channel. Regardless, Chernist went in to explain the plan to the entire alliance.
First, we will need Penguin Lord and High Dwarf will be leading the charge for the first distraction. Behind them, following suit, will be Taicho with Gustav and the Spinos. They will be there to get rid of that Tuso.
An initial distraction force would be sent in first, then Spinos deployed on the water to take care of the Tusos, and once safe, the rest of the army would try and make a crossing.
Alright, bring him down to the beach.
It's gonna be a massive battle.
Are you ready for war, my lord? Do you have all the required
I do
armor
have
and weapons and
everything
such?
that I need. I do. Alright, you
Master
get the
Merrick will
resources
still
and I
need
will
some.
wait here.
Kindly escorted by the secular front, on catamarans the Athenians had arrived at the base of the Octon conglomerate. This massive island would be the last standing ground for the government of Athens. Alberticles and his men moved the rafts inside and transported their tames up to where Farkash and the conglomerate was awaiting them.
I am glad that you all turned up. I will make sure that the tension between the tribes that remain will be smoothed over if that's possible. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
And then the last remaining member of the historians, Elion, had arrived. It was on the start of day 6 where Alberticles had destroyed the Bog Reapers, who in turn kidnapped and killed the historian man known as Hydra. With Elion's need for vengeance served by Athens, he now disclosed that he had attended the very meeting that had just been hosted by the Golden Empire discussing plans of attack.
You know, I still have to thank you for avenging Jonathan Jones, Albert. I have some information. I was there with all of them, so I saw the plan, the attack, how they are going to proceed. They know that King Bob Tuzo is going to gatekeep everyone from landing on the shore. So there is going to be a fake landing done by Penguin and apparently the dwarf. And after that, there's going to be a true landing when they're going to try to land the entire forces with an Aureliax and things like this.
Elion had just passed incredibly valuable information. The Athenian vassal states may have fallen, but Alberticles' spy network had certainly not. The Athenians, the Octons, and the secular front now knew that there would be a dummy attack. Hearing all of this, Alberticles and Farkash now devised a plan to give the oncoming empire no rest. The Athenian alliance was stationed and ready. Prepared for an oncoming attack, they watched out towards the horizon, scouting every inch of the Octon Island. Not only did they have eyes and ears, but they had every entrance to this island blocked off with gates and spikes.
2 golems, 1 Procop. They're just kind of chilling here. Procop is starting to move towards the y'all's base.
Shortly, the vanguard of the Golden Empire had arrived.
2 Reapers, 3 Golems. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Okay, so that's at least 3 tribes there.
We know Golden Empire is one. Fiumbia Farmers is one. Who's the other one?
Probably dwarves.
I would say I think
this is the dwarves.
The Fiumbia farmers on rafts with their 2 high-level rock golems went round the outskirts of the island, while the secular front's Royal Navy guarded the main crossing, refusing access to any of the Golden Empire. Soon, engagement started to happen in the depths of the water.
Some of the Rexes are down. Jade on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
This one's low.
As the Tuso squids were engaged in a water skirmish, and the Fiumbia farmers' rock golems moved through the outskirts, it seemed that on a northerly beach, the Golden Empire was constructing what looked to be a fleet. A fleet mounted with wooden ramps. They weren't going for one of the main entrances, but instead going round the back. Here, the Aureliax had given communications that one of the cliffs looked to be low enough for a naval landing assault. This exact landing would put them well past a lot of the Octon defences. However, by no means was this yet a confirmed route.
Whoa, pause. We're gonna send 1 ramp to see if the ramp even makes it up.
Tuso's back.
As the main group of the Empire tested their theory, the 2 golems from the Fiumbia farmers had made the shoreline and were now pelting through these very gates. Busher, awaiting above on the Aureliacs, had given the verdict.
Oh my god, you can! Oh my god, it works! Look at the ramp! Look at the ramp!
While Chernist had the Secular Front's Tusos distracted in Spino combat, the Golden Empire with their rafts started to slowly move forwards.
Go, go. It's this one. This right here, right here, right here. That go here. That go here is where we need to be.
The Empire had made landfall.
Advance! Go, 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 go!
RD.
Everyone low, back up. Don't sacrifice a player here.
I'm real low.
Jimmy's really low. Okay, can you fall back to Karna? Can you fall back to Deodong here? Okay. Just wait.
Don't get hit by a rock. Don't get hit by a rock.
As if the Athenians weren't already pressed enough. Second by second, more of the Empire's forces began to show. And then the Norse dwarves had brought a basilisk snake.
Get gas mask, gas
Henry,
mask.
don't go up. What's here? Okay, fall back.
Pushing.
Close the gates behind you. Whoever's last in, close the gates.
Oh, I see them.
Oh, there's a whole fucking army coming here. Close those gates. We need to fall back. We need everyone here.
Close the gate.
Swirly, close that gate right next to you, please.
Retreating through their gates, the rock golems and the rest of the army soon followed behind. The Empire would not allow pressure to be released.
Gate is down! Go! Charge!
Fall back. Continue falling back. We're outnumbered here. Continue falling back. Turn around.
The Athenians were being pushed further and further up the Octon Mountain. The gates of the base simply weren't holding long enough. The defensive alliance did have reinforcements, but they were at the top of the base, and Alberticles was screaming for them to come down.
Guys, are the reinforcements coming or what?
Yes.
Please hurry, dude. They're all here. Okay, guys, everyone that can't fall back.
Alberticles and the rest of the army was trying to hold their ground to await reinforcements, but from above, nothing was moving.
Murder, where's Rora?
Dead.
Down here in the wall.
Fuck.
Below the fight. Yeah. Fuck.
Soon, Athenian men started to become dispersed, dismounted, and sitting in the middle of an open field.
I'm done for, man. It's over.
With his men dead, Alberticles was surrounded.
That's it, guys.
I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead.
Alberticles was dead, and the Golden Empire had defeated the Athenians in battle. This marks the end of the experiment. If you want to watch a video even better than this one, click right here. And remember, Raid's link is in the description. Tap it and you start with 3 free legendary champions and a free epic. Use the promo code GETALICE and install Raid. Thank you.